Alright, um, welcome back. I know it's been a long time, so sorry for being stupid, I guess. Um, things have changed quite a bit. I put that in a comment of my last video. If you want to go read that, go ahead. If not, it's not super relevant. But I will say that the main inspiration for me coming back was I randomly remembered about this account that I was making videos on, and I watched the most recent one that I released, and the only comment that was on that video said, "Come back." And that made me sad. And so I felt like I owed another video. And just going back and watching the other ones made me feel like I was doing something. Like I was actually making something that I liked. Which maybe I'll get into later this video, but for now, let's switch to the game of the day. So, first two videos, Black Ops 2 Zombies, classic. Loved it. Super chill. That's mainly the way I want to go about making these videos, because if I feel like the bar to entry is too high, like mentally for me, it makes it more difficult for me to actually want to do that. So, Black Ops 2 Zombies, very familiar, easy to understand, something just cool to play while I talk. Um, Risk of Rain 2 was the third video. That was honestly, I spent quite a bit of time watching that one last night, um, and it was, I could tell I was having fun, just like, you know, bumming out on the game and talking to a screen. So we're back, and game of the day is Warframe. Now, I know that I'm kind of breaking a promise, or maybe a statement I made in the third video, which was the next video will be Balatro, however you like to pronounce it. Which, let's get it out the way, amazing game. However, I played a lot of Balatro since that video, and also since forgetting that I was making videos on this channel. So I don't know. When I was thinking of making another video after a year, um, I just wanted to pick something that I felt more comfortable playing, and that I wouldn't be like turning my brain off, or you know getting too bored with a game that I've played so much. So um, I'm in Warframe today. Um, I guess I'll talk about Warframe a little bit, just because lately I've been super hooked, and I'll talk uh, ooh, a little bit about the context. So, um, to start, I am. Where's my phone? Sorry, I feel like I'm getting messages. Um, Sorry. Um, let's start with I was a huge, long time Destiny fan, and if you have been in like the shooter realm at all, you probably know that as of right now, Destiny 2 has been announced, or has announced its last live service update, and there's been quite a few things floating around about it, about the dev team or, the corporate overlords or whatever. But to kind of make a long story short, the game is mostly coming to an end. It'll have a couple things coming in June. I may check them out. We'll see. But my time when in Destiny 2 was already dwindling, and then they kind of dropped the hammer and were like, okay, this is the last live service update for Destiny 2. And so I found another looter shooter to fill the space, and that was Warframe. And like I said, I've been super into it. So this isn't like a, baby's first Warframe. I'm definitely not, like a vet or anything by any means. I think I've maybe got like 100 hours so far, and that's been playing since I don't know, month and a half ago. Um, so yeah, that's what we're doing today. I think it'll be mildly interesting to watch the gameplay at least. Um, just because I've been waiting to do some story quests. Uh, so, if you're a Warframe fan, you know, uh, tell me about it in the comments. I always like to hear when people are like, "Yeah, I love this game. So glad you're playing it," or whatever, right? So, or anything else, if you ever feel like commenting, please do. I love to read them. So, um, talk a little bit more about the game, and then maybe we'll switch into a standard yap. But couple objectives today are gonna be actually let's go to the codex. Might be easier to actually no, easiest way to see is go here, and we're gonna want to do this one first. Whispers in the Walls, because that's gonna lead to another quest that I really want to do. Let's see. So yeah, Whispers in the Walls, Lotus Eaters, the Hex, and then the Old Piece, which I believe is sort of the current main story of Warframe. Jade Shadows, as far as I can tell, is still part of the main story. I mean, it is in the main quest section, but um, I think this is a tiny bit more detached than like these four quests are from I think I've completed up until this one, the Angels of the Zariman, whatever you want to say. So that's our main goal. I'm thinking I can do maybe this one and this one before I feel like maybe it'll be late enough to stop the video, but you know, I'm I'm someone who likes to go pretty quick through story. It's a it's a weird habit. I will skip all of the, you know, um, cinematics or voice lines that I can because I like the speed of Warframe. I really like how fluid the game feels gameplay wise, and so I will manually skip story stuff to pretty much continue that sort of feel outside of just the gameplay. And I will normally just go back and watch a YouTube video as I'm going to bed, like about all the stuff that I missed in cinematics. It feels more short form, which helps my attention span. So yeah, that's pretty much thing number one today. Number two is this Syndicate Arbiters of Hexus. I'm pretty close to getting. Oh shit! Hold on. What does this rank up need? Okay, I have enough. But I'm close to maxing out, getting to 5 for Arbiters of Hexus, which will be pretty huge. I'll explain a little bit. So you rank up your syndicates, you can get more stuff in their shop. So I've already obtained this one, the Burst and Prime mod. Very good mod. If you know Warframe a little bit, you've probably heard of the Burst and Prime. Very good weapon. Like I said, I'm like just over the hump of starting out. So to me, all of the kind of like meta, super good, weapons that people are like, that I would say like veteran players tend to bash on a little bit, um, are just kind of new to me. So I'm okay with using them and like feeling strong with them because um, at the end of the day, Warframe is a power fantasy game, much like Destiny. So I'm okay with using meta weapons if they make me feel really strong. So yeah, that's gonna be another thing. We'll kind of get some of this standing as we just play, but at some point I might swap to the Syndicate specific missions. I think they're right here. Yeah, so maybe some of these at some point, but we'll see. Um, we'll give a I don't know. Let me run through a couple more things and then we'll just like go fucking play already. So this is my frame right now. I caved as a baby Tenno when I was watching Gauss edits or Gauss, whatever you want to say. And he was in Prime Resurgence, and I said, yeah, I'm gonna get that guy. So I did. And so now I have Gauss. Oh, sorry. Before I explain more of that, the reason why I was so hyped for this is because of Gauss, really. And there's a Gauss mod, actually two, but this one is okay, I heard, but this one is really good, which just gives your ability some extra elemental damage for 30 seconds. It's a little bit misleading on the description. I know they can't fit every single word to describe it right here, but it says allies in range gain 75% bonus elemental damage for 30 seconds, which you would think, like, if you stand in it, any of your elemental damages are going to be buffed, which is not true. So for Gauss, he has two different thermal sunder activations, one for cold, one for heat. And if you're in range of either of them, you get the 75% bonus damage, but it's an added either cold, heat, or if you do both activations at the same time, you can get an added blast onto your weapons for 30 seconds. Very good mod, I hear. You don't have to mod for blast. I mean, technically, you wouldn't have to mod for heat or cold if you only wanted to pop one at a time. Most people pop both for the blast, though. It's really good. So, yeah, that's kind of like main thing number two. Other than that, there's not a whole lot that I'm like super focused on. I might at some point go do let's see here, the Steel Path. Well, I will, but I guess I'm saying I might make a video on it. I don't know yet. We'll see. We you guys can tell what happens when I'm like, oh yeah, I'll make videos, and then I like drop off the face of the earth for 7 months or a year. So definitely gonna do this. I heard both of these are extremely good. Toxicist and Torrid, like I said, super meta. I don't care. Makes me feel strong. So we're gonna do it. And yeah. So last thing we'll play. Just explain a little bit more. So you have your frames. So right now I'm running Gauss. Actually, I might swap. I love Gauss, but right now I think Nova or Folly have been more of my main ones. Gauss will probably come back full force once I get that mod I was talking about. But yeah, you can kind of choose from all the ones that you collect or like build over a certain amount of time. You have to spend time getting parts and building them, and then eventually you have their full frame to, use as your character. And they all have different abilities, so in that way it appeals to me as almost like a hero shooter feel. And then obviously you get to choose from all the weapons. They run the same way. You get parts, build, mod them out, so you run some mods on them, which, change the way they, deal damage or interact and stuff like that. And that's mostly everything we need to know if you are like not understanding Warframe at all. But you'll pick up more once I start playing. So I'm going to play. Excuse me. I'll do Nova. Nova's fun. Very easy too. So let's hop in. The first one. I'm not sure what I'll have to talk about today. I feel like I'm gonna be so, like captured by the game that I might be less of like yappy, but we'll see. You know how these videos go. So let's go see what we gotta do. I guess in the meantime, I'll talk about a little bit about what's been going on in the last year. So, okay, this is not creepy. As this plays out, like I said, I'm like not super locked on the cinematics. Not that I don't care, but I want to talk to you guys, and I want to just talk because it's good for myself. Let's figure out where we need to go. So, last year, I was in a bit of a weird episode, I guess. Like, I felt like I really wanted to just start making videos, almost as like a thought palace, where I was like, I wanted to just dump everything out of my head. Like, just to something, to anyone listening, like willing to listen. And so I started making these videos, just chilling out and talking, and mostly about my problems or random stuff going on or stories, whatever. And that's how that went. And then I kind of just like disappeared because I forgot about this channel, and just a lot of stuff was changing. Last time I made a video, I was in a completely different living situation, which was, this little apartment by the school I was going to. But now I've been living with some roommates that I know personally, both like some of my best friends, and it's been pretty cool. And I've just been busy doing other stuff. Lately, I have been struggling to find a job, to be honest. And I graduated my college just like a little under a year ago. It's coming up, but yeah. And it's just been a little bit difficult. I've been kind of trying to break into the tech field in general at this point. At first, I was like, oh, I'm gonna do cybersecurity, I'm gonna do IT, or, you know, networking, or whatever, right? Because that was most of the stuff that I was used to or into, which is still true. But after realizing that the job market was much more competitive, and disregarding the competition, it's there are some scarce openings, it can feel like, and I've just been struggling with that, and I've been working a bit of a dead-end job. It's fine, and I'm good at it, but there's not a whole lot to really, like, learn anymore or do, and there's not more responsibility to manage, which, you know, as much of a, you know, kind of a chud I am, I'm not so much of a chud that I want to deny myself the opportunity to grow. But, you know, that comes with its challenges. I've, I think it was maybe the last video that I said I was diagnosed with ADHD, and I've definitely still been struggling with the effects of it, you know, directly, indirectly, and it's made some things a lot tougher for me. Like, motivation is a big one. I may have touched on this before in some other videos, where I just am not a person who's like, I need some pretty strong external motivation to, like, really get going on something. Very rarely does internal motivation, like, really get me going. It has to be, like, really, really strong internal motivation to, like, make me do something. I mean, for example, like, I was so kind of depressed at the time that I was starting to make the videos, that, like, that was my thing. I was like, I don't even know what to do anymore, I'm just gonna start making these videos. Oh, okay, cool. So yeah, that's a bit more of my kind of, I guess, psychoanalysis of myself. But yeah, and since then, so I was on, I want to say I was on ADHD medication around the time that I was making the videos. I graduated, and then I had this period where I kind of just stopped taking it because I wasn't enjoying this. Wow. This is crazy. Sorry. Distracted. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so I graduated, and I hit this period where I kind of just stopped taking my medication. Which, you know, anybody with, you know, sensible thinking is like, you should never just randomly stop taking your medication. And I would say, yes, you were totally right. So that was a dumb decision. I definitely, you know, felt it in the long run. And so now I'm back on medication, which has been working definitely more consistently than the last type of medication I was on. I mean, it's technically the same medication, but the one I'm taking now is an extended release rather than an instant release, which, if you've ever had to take a medication that's instant release, you'll know that it when it says instant, it means instant, so it can really make some of the effects of the medication, like, really apparent. And at the time, I found it kind of unsettling or, scary to deal with. And so that's mainly the reason why I stopped. But now I'm back on. It's working better, so that's nice. What else? Yeah, I think in maybe my last video, I was talking a lot about my job, and at the time my job was, I was working like a front desk position. Oh,
is it not
interesting.
aware there's a war going on?
Sorry.
So,
I was working like a front desk sort of position at a bowling alley, and I remember I was laughing to myself last night about how long I was going on about a triple knot on some shoes. But since then, I've changed positions in that bowling alley to be an arcade technician. I'm putting that in quotation marks because I work on the arcade machines now. I work on the bowling machines that we have. Kind of a general maintenance guy. Like, it would honestly be better to just call me like a maintenance guy. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. It's been okay. I definitely made me learn a couple things, but nothing where I feel like it's like super, getting me ready to like expand into another field. I mean, it has its worth, but you know, like kind of what I was saying, I want to get into tech a little more. I don't know how much weight this position kind of holds and like would really look on like a resume or even just speaking about it to someone. So those are some of the struggles going on.
Incomplete experiment, one might say.
So yeah.
Albrecht left a great deal incomplete.
Yeah, so lately I've been just trying my hand at, random ways to kind of gain more experience or just find a job opening or whatever.
For their operator.
And, to varying degrees of success. Just talking to, friends of friends of friends about, what to do. Applying for jobs that I normally wouldn't just because, I feel like right now it's a bit of a mix of like you want to do quantity and quality when like applying for positions. What the hell? Alright. Easy enough. Oh shit. Shit, I might have to mute this for a second. One sec. Okay. Maybe. It's a it's a Nine Inch Nails song. I was actually just told about this by my friend today because I've been playing a lot with him. So I just don't want to get the audio muted or have the video taken down since song's playing. Guy looks cool though. I'll watch this one. This one seems fun. I'm enjoying the music. I know you can't hear it. I'm sorry, but just imagine some cool shit playing behind this. Oh, I'm gonna play as him, aren't I? Yeah. Oh wow, they're still playing music. Is it going away? Alright, should be good now. Let's see. Alright, we're back. Let's test.
I need to know you made it.
Yeah, let's work. So that's a little bit about current life. Okay. My lease is going up on the place that I'm living right now, so I've been looking with one of the roommates I'm living with for a place for the two of us, because the other one is going to live with their partner, and that's cool. So just dealing with regular shit. Gotta find somewhere to live, bro. Lol. This feels very Resident Evil. My friend was right when he was telling me this character has Leon vibes. Survive. Oh my god, not the music again. Here. You know, let's do this. Sorry, music. Okay. That way you guys can still hear some. Wow. Wow. Okay. Excalibur moment.
Stay tuned. Here's where we find out.
I don't know why you didn't spam the hell out of this ability. There. Let's use the 4. Really enjoy Warframe for these kinds of, or I guess for this type of gameplay, because kind of how I was explaining earlier that I played a lot of Destiny. The game can feel similar to Warframe, but Warframe is definitely more of like a, we're gonna spawn 1,000 enemies, and you're definitely just gonna be able to nuke them all, while Destiny kind of has a bit of a slower playstyle compared to this, and it's more focused on like the gunplay aspect, like more gunplay, because Warframe obviously has some really interesting weapons and definitely really great feeling weapons, but I feel like the way that you use the weapons feels vastly different than Destiny does. Both have their own, really good perks to it. So
You are late.
I thought it was on time. Alright, bro. It's Wally. He's man in the wall. Guy in the wall. Dude in the wall. Speaking of music, like what I just had to mute twice. I've been listening to a lot more, so in the time that I stopped making videos, I got super into a band called Loathe. They're not like they're not popular. They're kind of well known at this point. If you are into like metalcore sort of music, and they're my favorite band of all time. And I've listened to everything And right now I am sitting on some tickets that
They're attacking the central
will
network.
I will go to a show in October to go see. I'm super excited.
To arms, play the warrior.
I would
And
say
with the tactics
that
to meet.
their album I Let It In and It Took Everything is my
I'm
favorite,
awake.
much like
Your one
most
responsibility is
fans of Loathe would
fulfilled.
probably say.
Be with the family. They must be
But I
kept
would
to
say
the state
Cold
of
Sun,
ignorance to which
or
my Albrecht
yeah,
so
Cold
wisely
Sun is a very, very close second. They have
I see.
different sounds to them. You can definitely tell the similarities between the two. Grimoire. Oh, my arsenal. Whoops. Grimoire. That's cool. But yeah, listen to a ton of them. Listen to just new music in general. A lot of metal. Hardcore, post-hardcore, rock, a lot of shit like that. I mean, I listen to, not to be that person, but I listen to everything, with the main exceptions of a lot of pop, or I guess like modern pop. I like some older pop songs,
In all the time I have been asleep.
and country, there's some country songs that I do like, but it's definitely not one of my main genres that I listen to a lot.
Ignore the
So,
caveat, Tenno. If Albrecht ever
if you have
understood
any
the labyrinth,
music
he never
recommendations,
bothered to share
though,
that
I'm
knowledge
open
with
to
me.
anything. I will definitely give anything a listen once, and
Here they come.
even if
After
it's
all
if
those
it is
years
country or
of
pop or
sleep,
whatever,
silent
just throw them in the
Something
comments.
has
If it
changed.
stands out to
Stir
you,
them up.
it'll probably stand out to me
There
too.
is a defense system of sorts. Gather enough of the floating Vosphine glyphs,
But,
and they should reinvigorate the organs you're
I
here to protect.
also will not hesitate to say if it was like not my thing,
Case.
but
The promised operator never showed.
let's see. Oh, I still have to stay
The
here.
necromax never
Well,
could be compelled to
I
attack the
could
murmur.
get these things.
Albrecht
Okay.
suspected they could no longer
This is
distinguish
basically
between
like
the
that one mission
indifference
type, but
and
a little
himself. A theory he was reluctant to confirm.
This is the worst thing. This Grimoire's cool, but this thing is just better. Need energy. Okay, we gotta kill whatever that thing is. Wow, you have a lot of health, don't you? A lot of health. Yeah. A lot of music lately, a lot of random games that I've just been playing here and there. Going back to some older games that, well, not older, but games that I've played before, like Overwatch. There's been a good bit of that. Obviously, like I said, been playing a lot of Warframe. So, it's been, okay, is the main thing just scrap these? Like, do you even need to fill these? Okay, yeah, let's just scrap these. Let's just do that. Do that fast. Oh, psych. Can I go to a new
Shifting
place?
Get to the victory! Look at them. The indifference. He could have given lessons in indifference.
Yeah. So, a lot of Loath's music has become
Albrecht once
very
thought the Clavia should have
personal
been
to me.
destroyed.
I feel very,
Failures all. But he briefly showed reluctance, and I saw no reason to
like,
punish
I
them for
heavily
his
enjoy their music.
negligence.
It
I saw
speaks
off
to me
Rant's
in a way
I'd
that
be
other
back
music
infested.
does not
And
really
by
like
the
hit
void I shall see the end of these monstrosities.
like theirs does. And I know people are gonna be like, well, they're basically just this, and the big one is like Deftones, which I do listen to a lot of Deftones. They were kind of like my main listen before I got super heavy into Loathe. But I'm pretty lax on a lot of like, I try not to take, oh, that's nice. I try not to take like music too seriously to the point where I feel like I have to like, what am I trying to say? Like nitpick at it, because then I feel like I'm just not treating the music like how it should be. Like I feel like every song should be just taken at face value initially, right? Like I'm not saying there's not deeper meanings to songs, but when it comes to like, well, this is a, you know, a copy of like a different, like this sounds so much like this, or this sounds so much like that, they're basically like ripping them off. It's like cool, but I feel like people don't realize like how much music is ripped off all the time, and nobody cares that much. Like people like things that sound similar to other things. It's kind of what music is in general. Like, I don't know. I'm not trying to get too deep into it, but yeah, I don't know. It just, people are gonna like what they like, and I find it pretty pointless to be the guy who's like, well, they're just a copy of this, or, you know, well, this song I don't like because it doesn't fit the traditional, you know, style of song that I like specifically. It's like cool, but, you know, I feel like the art is always going to matter most to the artists themselves, and so I feel like people care about their own opinion too much.
Dust yourself down, tenant.
And,
We
you know,
are
while
still
I
alive.
have my own opinions where I'll, like,
Rejoin me,
you know,
and the
defend certain
Kalino
things till I die,
sequence
that's
may
more, that's
proceed.
coming from more of, like, a human perspective, where I'm like, you know, I do have my own emotions, and I feel like I, you know, want to, you know, experience those in a way that feels right, where I'm like, yeah, I'll take this song over that song any day, you know, and, you know, I'll banter with people about it, but when it comes to being, like, serious about me, like, music reviewers have never really made sense to me, because, like, what is there to review? Like,
You're right, Fish.
I don't know.
Lloyd could never
It's
figure
like,
things out. We have nothing to worry about.
like if I put a fucking apple in a jar,
If the caviar
you know, and
and
you were
Babylon
like an
secrets to the
Apple
moon,
reviewer, like
I'll
I
show
this
you
is
what
so
they thought
like
of them.
weird of a point,
Promise
but it's
or
like,
no
what is there to
promise?
review? Like it's an apple, and
It seems Albrecht
like
said more than we heard.
from in
Despite
the
the
best way
signal
possible,
becoming
who
corrupted,
cares
his
about the
words to
apple,
you were
right? Like
preserved in
you
a
don't need to nitpick like,
transcript
oh
buffer.
well, it's not red
We
enough,
should extract
or you know, it's not
but for
round
that, the
enough,
Palm
or it
2
doesn't have a
requires a
good
replacement
real
board,
apple shape or
and those
whatever,
are all
right?
hidden
It's like
away in the
all these things are
Netracell.
pointless when you realize it's just an
You do
apple.
understand
You don't
that
have
accessing
to
a Netracell without a key glyph
do
is
any of that.
completely impossible.
And I think music reviewers, or like music reviewing or music analysis, is cool up until a certain point where you're kind of using it as a tool to just kind of throw out your own opinion. And, you know, yes, everybody is entitled to their own opinion. But I just think it's crazy knowing that there's so many people out there that feel like their opinion
So,
is something like
the
worth
Carvia have
anything,
provided the
and that's
very
not
item
like,
we require.
that doesn't
Very
apply to
well.
all
Proceed to the
like
Netracell at
everything,
your
right?
own
Like because
risk.
like people's opinions are obviously going to matter on like
That babbling oddity
government
may be sending you
policies,
into a trap.
or
And if
you
you do
know,
end up in
certain,
I'm
you know,
afraid
social
you're
standards
enough.
being broken, right? Where you're like you can't say that word, or you can't do that thing. Like that's when opinion matters, right? Because it's like, you know, that's, I feel like that's more impactful to like human life. But as for, you know, the arts, like, you know, like traditional art, or like, you know, music
Key
making,
glyphs
or
are
you
a
know,
heavy
anything that
burden
you could
for
classify
living
as art,
beings to bear.
I don't really get the point
Each
of
type will
reviewing it,
impede you
because
in
I
its
feel
own
like
way.
art comes from such a deeply like human, and like while some of it can be focused, I feel like creativity is so ambiguous that, you know, trying to like provide standards to people to be like, oh well, this is a good thing and this is a bad thing, just makes no sense. Like it doesn't. I feel like it doesn't really do a whole lot for anybody. Cause like, what are you trying to say? Like the song is good or bad? I don't know. Anyway, let me get off this part of my rant for a little bit. If you gained anything from that slop of words that just exited my mouth, let me know, because maybe you can say it in a better way than I can. What? Where the fuck am I supposed to go? I have no idea where I'm going right now. So what happens when you don't pay attention? I feel like I kind of know what I'm looking for. Is it on this side? No, let's go back here. Is this the terminal? No? Let's keep going. We'll figure it out. I've been thinking, you know, staying on the topic of music in general, I've been thinking a lot about, getting an electronic drum set, mostly because I won't have a ton of space for like a real kit, and that, you know, I'll be living in a, you know, a small apartment again, so it's just a bad choice to try and get a kit or, you know, go someplace to use one. I feel like it's not very effective, but I feel like an electronic drum set is going to be a little bit out of reach for a while, which I'm okay with, but it has been on my mind because I used to take some drum lessons. I used to play drums way back in like elementary school. It was like kind of like the instrument that was prescribed to me in like music classes and stuff. But yeah, I've been thinking a lot more about wanting to do that again. I think like drums and drumming in general are like the most impactful parts of music to me. It's what I remember most about a lot of stuff. So I figured, you know, if I like music so much and I like drums so much, I can go try myself. So, we'll see.
Look at these things lying around, abandoned, like you, Lloyd.
You are his demon, not mine. I won't listen.
Guess we keep going this way.
My apologies, Tenno. I shall refrain from further outbursts.
I'm sorry if you can hear some of the kind of like keyboard clacking or, you know, mouse clicking. My desk is set up a little bit differently than like the last videos, and I tried my best to get the noise suppression and like noise gating as best I could. But you're definitely going to be hearing some of it. But I kind of hope it adds to a little bit more of the kind of, I guess, lack of better positive feel to my videos, where I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna record myself talking and just post, you know, an hour and a half at a time. So, yeah, deal with it, son. Alright. This way. You know, if you are new or returning, I'd like to hear how you guys are doing. I know, you know, that I know that my videos kind of reached a certain audience where, you know, how am I trying to explain this? I'm like saying like I'm about to say like I have cancer. You know, I I know in one of my videos I said that I was a pretty inherently lonely person, which I still think is mostly true. I do get some pretty crazy lonely moments. It's been less now that I've been living with people that I know and stuff like that, but I know that maybe a lot of the people who were watching my videos could relate to that, and so you know, I do like to know how the people that end up watching my stuff are doing, because you know, it's important to me that, like, you know, as much as this is like therapeutic for me, I want it to be therapeutic for other people. And
A netrocell.
I feel
Albrecht has
like
stored
I'm
all
not
manner of
trying to be
sentimental
someone
old
who's like
junk in these.
above,
Instead
you know,
to keep
interacting with people who take the time
The
to
netrocell's
interact with my stuff,
security
right? Like, they,
apparatus is diligent.
you know,
That door won't open while it
notice the
concerns
video and are like, yeah,
murder
okay, I'll give it a shot, and then they
So
actually watch
illuminate
a good
them.
bit of it. You know, this is easily going to be an hour-long video, probably maybe 2, but
Necromites. The lab's automated
you
systems
know, I find
are
it
trying to lock down the netrocell.
kind of incredible that
Your
people
only option
would
is to
actually
destroy them.
spend so much time in these kinds of videos, because I do like to watch a lot of, you know, lengthier videos, depending on kind of what they're about, but I definitely am also the kind of person who's just like, yeah, you know, a 15-20 minute video is like the sweet spot, yeah. So yeah, if you've managed to watch it up until this point, you know, thank you, and in a human way, I do love you, because, you know, it's really cool. I know in another video that I explained that, you know, it was really cool that I only had to make like 1 or 2 videos before I felt like there were actually people like actually watching me, and that was really cool. And it still is cool. I mean, I got that feeling when I remembered that I had the account, and I was watching some of my old videos and seeing people in the comments.
I was a
It was cool.
fool not to see the resemblance before.
Let's keep going. If you're watching the gameplay right now, and you don't know anything about Warframe, and you're kind of going like, what the fuck is happening at all times, don't worry, because it's like that all the time. Even if you play the game a lot, I'm always going, what the fuck is happening?
You should have left
Oh
well
my
enough
god,
alone,
bro.
It'll never get better if you keep on picking at it.
Excellent. Return to me with the board, Tenno.
Sorry for going mute. Just thinking. I guess I was debating whether or not I would get into like heavier stuff this video, mostly because it's been hard for me as well, but I feel like just talking about it is gonna make me feel, I don't even know if better is the word, but more solid with where I'm at. I know that when I kind of started some of these videos, I had recently broken up with my girlfriend at the time, and since then we got back together, and you know, we had come back kind of under conditions that we felt were pretty mutual, and that was good. But even since that point, a lot more changed. Like I said, I was, struggling with, ADHD stuff and, just general personality stuff. And again, recently, we went on a break. And it's been okay. It's been fine. I don't feel nearly as, like, deeply, like, depressed as the first time.
Please.
And I can't really tell if it's because the way we left things off this time was more of like a, we need time to figure things out for ourselves, and we have this plan to kind of, come back when we're ready. And, we still hang out like normal friends, and actually we hung out today at another friend's house.
Need Lloyd
But,
to understand why I had
yeah.
to leave. Without him,
It's been
why I forced
still
him
hard,
to
though.
destroy the device after I had gone. And why I could
she'll
never say
she'll
the
probably end up
words he
watching
so
this
needed
video,
to
but
hear.
I feel like to really keep the spirit of these videos, I have to treat it like nobody is, and just to talk into the mic and be honest, because I feel like I
I had
rarely get
remained in
a
the
chance to be like
Thanos
really
laboratory,
honest,
Lloyd
and this
would
is kind of my
never
outlet.
have been safe
So,
from him.
but yeah,
You
things have been a
know
lot
of
different.
what I speak. And so I retreated to
We had
the
talked about
only
how
place in
when
history
if the
where
first
that
time that we had
entity
broken up,
could not
that
easily
she
follow,
felt that
to
it
draw
really kind
his
of
greedy eye away from Lloyd.
kick-started me in a way, or like put a fire in me to, really do better for myself, which was true. I think I would agree.
I
But
require
your I don't
trust.
really know if it's
Craft the
complacency
little
or
curio whose blueprints you will
comfort,
find in the
but
computer's
like when we
memory.
got back together,
Complete the Kalimos sequence. Repair.
things,
Rebuild.
slowly started to kind of
When
settle.
the time
And,
is right,
I know everybody has their
find
own
me.
opinion on like settling or, slowing down in a relationship when like you've been together for, a while. Like we've known each other and been together for like
If something mattered,
around
he'd
5
have
years
found a
now.
way. It's too late.
Well, not together anymore.
You heard him, Tenno.
Lol.
He requires your trust. So
but
craft
yeah.
the bloody thing.
So I struggle with it because I would say that she's definitely somebody who I love very deeply, regardless of like the label I can put on the two of us. Like before we had taken this most recent break, it was like, yeah, she's my girlfriend. Like I could think about her like, oh, she's my girlfriend. And that is a nice feeling, as like somebody who or I don't know where I'm going with this. I feel like anybody would know that like being able to, call somebody else like your partner, like your girlfriend, your boyfriend, right? That's a really special feeling because it signifies just like really close bond, and that they really care for you and you really care for them. And like I said, I do. Uh, I probably care for her like more than anybody else in the world, and I'll support her through and through. Even if things never turn out again, she's still one of the coolest people I know. That's where I'm at. And day by day, I feel differently. You know, like some days it's like it really hits me where I'm like, damn, um, I'm not where I want to be, you know, with her. Like I do want to be in a, you know, super committed like day-to-day relationship with her, and like I would want to build a future and build a life, and um but the problem is, you know, or I guess to explain a little bit more, it's like she's a really driven, super incredible person. I mean, she has really had a plan like for a lot of things that she's done in her life. And it's really paid off for her. Like she's gone through tons of schooling and she's now just, you know, getting into a what I like to say her big girl job.
The jar
And as of right
who
now, I'm not
gargoyle.
really
Bring it
on
back
that
here and
kind
we
of
shall
path. I'm
examine
struggling
what form will do to
and
help
just
us.
really, in all sense of the term, figuring things out. Because I don't really know what I'm doing yet. Where am I at now? Okay, this. Let's do this. Let's swap from Nova. I wanted to play someone else. Let's see. And that's the main rift, I guess, is like, you know, she feels like she's going one way and she wants me to go along with her, but I'm, you know, kind of lagging behind. Um, and when we were talking about all of it, I really feel like I can, like, promise that, like, I would figure my stuff out as soon um, as maybe she was hoping or that she wanted. And, you know, that's okay. I had to, you know, you have like the first reaction to news like that, like, you know, maybe we go on a break or maybe we split, you know, where you're like, well, why? You know, like, you know, I'm a cool person, right? Like, you like me, you know, all the kind of like sappy, you know, pity me kind of stuff. But you know, I feel like I'm pretty good at really um directing my thoughts and like in uh good places, I guess. Like I I really try to see things from her perspective, especially with this that I've been struggling with, because yeah, you know, I have my moments where I sit down and I really think about it and I'm like, wow, like, you know, maybe things wouldn't have turned out if I did this better or that better, and you know, list goes on. You do this for anything. I'm not just talking about relationships. You know, you make mistakes and you think about it a lot. And let's do her on it. And you kind of ruminate on it. Um, but what really helps me is like I feel like, you know, which I would say that I really do love her. Like I feel like if you really love anybody, that you need to always take into account what they feel, right? And I know that sounds so like ooga booga, like duh, but you'd be surprised how many people don't really really practice that. Like there are people who are like, yeah, you know, I love my girlfriend, but like when it comes to really serious stuff, that they don't even think about like what the other person is feeling or thinking or what their perspective on the relationship is. And so that has really helped me to come to terms with where we're at right now. I'm okay with where we're at now right now because I understand that um, she wants me to do better. And that's not like a, I'm not meaning that, and she's like, she's making a demand. It's more of like, she wants to see me doing better. Like she wants to feel like I've got my stuff figured out as my own person. And like I can see that, you know, like I don't feel like I'm at where I want to be. Um, you know, obviously it's just a shame that it, you know, kind of, you know, dug into the relationship as much as it did. You know, I never intended it to, but that's life. You know, I'm not a perfect person. Um, so I make mistakes, and, you know, I try my best, however that looks each day, and that's mostly about what's going on with her. To get out of more of the how to be a better person 101, and, you know, how not to feel so depressed. You know, some of the littler things is just like realizing how much you miss out on, you know, when things slow down to this point of like a break or a breakup. Like you really start to miss so much of like what used to happen. You know, just like little stuff, you know, hanging out in each other's room, or, you know, playing games with each other, feeling, you know, that feeling of like you get most of their time, where like most of the time where they like have to spend with someone else, you know, like they are going to you, or they're like, do you want to hang out? And it's, you know, now that there's not that obligation of like, well, you know, we're together, so like we should spend time together. Now it's like, you know, she's spending a lot of time elsewhere, and I understand it, because I feel like that's what makes it feel like a real break, you know, like if we hang out too much, even though like, yeah, we're still good friends, then it starts to feel back like more like a relationship again, and that goes against the point of like why we did it in the first place. But it still sucks, don't get me wrong, it still sucks. And there are moments where it really just hits me, and I've been pretty good about not letting it like get to me. I feel like I want to feel the impact of it, because that's what makes me think, makes me feel driven to do better. But at the same time, I know my limits, and if I go to that crazy dark place, that it only does bad things for me. So there's a threshold that I have to maintain when I'm like thinking about that kind of stuff. But yeah, a lot of things that I miss, a lot of things that you know, I regret or wish I did better on. But you know, I'm trying in my own way, and just I have to try. You know, like you have to try. You know, I really like her. I know that sounds crazy to say after being like, yeah, I love this girl, but like, you know what I mean? When you say like you really like someone, like it's that type of like connection you feel with someone when it's like it feels so familiar, so comfortable, and then as soon as you've spent just barely not enough time with that person, it feels like there's this like hole, you know, or like half your vision is like blurred, where you're like, why aren't things as clear as they used to be, sort of
Here
thing.
we
And
are then, the best of what's
so,
left.
yeah,
Clearly, Papa's plan was
that's a little bit.
cancelled.
That'll be the
Colour me
heaviest thing of this
surprised.
video,
Right
hopefully.
then, we may
So,
proceed with the sequence.
you know, if you have any,
You
relatable feelings or things that you're struggling with, I'm all ears. I'd like to talk about it, talk it through.
Oh, come, Lloyd. It's
Makes me
named
feel
after
better,
Papa's
and it
favourite
makes me feel
pet.
more
Spare the rod and
in tune
spoon.
with
We
reality.
know the fragmented ones are heralds
You may
of
not like it, but it's
indifference.
still there,
We know
and that's
the
what's
chosen
pushing
operator
me, and
must
hopefully
summon
you
and
as well,
destroy
to
them.
be the best version of you.
Regrettably, you,
And
Lloyd, have
and I'm not
made
talking about the best
this
version of you that's,
impossible.
the gold standard, doing everything possible at every moment.
Tenno,
I'm
the
talking about
grimoire is incomplete.
the you that you
The
know
final
in this
page
life,
hidden
like,
away
you need
by
to
Lloyd.
understand what's
Dear
realistic for
darling,
you
retrieve
and
it.
what you can achieve
That's all.
within
Run
your
along.
personal boundaries,
So be it.
and
The gift of
just
decency
do
was
that
clearly not bestowed
and
upon the
look to
carver,
improve.
Tenno.
So that's where I'm at.
But I cannot
That's
deny the
my
paper's
philosophy
current
as of now.
status is
I'm just
lost.
trying to fill my time that is no longer with this person, and trying to make something productive out of it.
Papa is gone. We could all be gone too. In an instant.
I'm even after talking about that, like, I still don't feel so, like, torn up, like, completely. Like I said, like, I'm not like going down some like crazy, like, oh, I'm gonna fucking kill myself sort of thing. Like,
We would be screwed.
I'm at that nice spot where I'm like, I feel the weight of, like, my mistake, but that I'm still able to enjoy, the presence in my life that she still does have, and I think that's okay with me for now, because
Fish says.
it's just,
That
hopefully
page
pushes
was
me
the
in a
last
better
thing
direction.
my Albrecht ever wrote. Meant for me.
Try and
Since I
lighten
had
the mood
no
a little bit,
interest
though.
in reading his endless self-justifications.
And we'll talk
I
about
hid it away
Warframe
instead.
for a little bit, but
But with all this chaos,
I've
it's
been
undetectable.
going crazy with all the kind of new stuff that I've been getting lately, trying to just figure out what's what I like best, what is like fun, what I feel is like really bad, really good. And this game is so, like, perfect for kind of like my
Do not patronize the Tenno fish.
like attention
The
span, or
styles of
like
Kra
dopamine
merely
seeking
void-renderings of
brain,
chains of cause
where
and
like
effect.
I just get to see a shit ton of
Conceptually
numbers pop
embodied
up on my screen,
timelines, if you will.
and everything dies quick, and I feel like I'm doing shit all the time. Like, I was talking to my friend about this game, or actually I was talking to my brother about this game, because he's also a morning Destiny 2 player, and I was like, we were talking about like some of the stuff that we felt was just not ever that great about Destiny, and that we were hoping they would fix by the time like the game eventually ended, before they were kind of just like, okay, we're nuking it. But one of them was like, we felt that Destiny 2 had a lot of like wasted time. Like as a player, there were just like options like to play that were genuinely wastes of your time. Like, if you know anything about Destiny 2, you'll know that patrols, useless out of like very specific circumstances, like quests or whatever. But like patrols, genuinely so stupid. Like, you go and do two things, you get no reward, and they still just existed in the game for way too long without getting reworked or just completely removed would have been fine with me, because it's like, it was just like a nothing burger thing. But in this game, and this is kind of one of the reasons that I felt like I had sold my brother on trying it out and playing with me, was I told him that there's almost nothing in this game that I feel like really wastes your time. Like there's always something that you're getting out of it. Materials, you know, something specific that you're looking for, like a Warframe part, or a gun part, or, you know, a mod, whatever. And that has been something very satisfying about the game. Because then I can do stuff like this. Like, I'm going to record this 2-hour video, or maybe 2 hours, we'll see. And then I'll hop off for the day, and, like, it'll be, like, I'll have something to show for it. And, like, the whole time I've just been, like, talking to my screen, barely paying attention to what I'm doing. And, hello? Wait. Do I have to, okay. And, like, I'll just, like, come out of it with all kinds of stuff. I mean, this quest itself is gonna be, like, really nice, because it's getting me closer to a quest point, or I guess, like, towards the end of the main quest, and, one of the frames that I really want to play, and that is very popular, is kind of locked between, or locked behind getting some of the quests done, and that is, the frame is called Uriel. It's very cool. He's like a demon from hell vibe, which is, one, cool on its own, and two, he has an extremely good kit. Me and my friend are definitely, like, the type to, like send a ton of, like, tier lists, or, like, reference tier lists that we see, because we like figuring out a game quickly. Like, whenever we hop on a new game, we're like, okay, I heard this is the meta, or, like, this is good, and that is good, and, like, we send, information, it's, like, informative. I always try to say informational, because it's such a, like, English habit, but the word is informative. I need to remember that. We send informative videos about games that we play together, and it's, definitely one of the more fun things, that I find about, like, me and him playing games together. But, anyway, where was I? I'm trying to retrace my steps here. I got distracted by something. I can't remember. Okay. So I'm gonna walk while I try and remember.
The sodding indifference seeks a path through the walls, and then Tenno,
jeez, man.
through you.
I feel like I want to remember, because I was, like, on a point. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, now I remember. So, like, yeah, we like tier lists, and so, like, in a lot of the tier lists that we see, this frame Uriel is, like, normally very high up, and so, you know, we see him on these tier lists, and, you know, we're suckers for tier lists, and so we're like, oh, we should try and get him, and then we realize he's, like, locked behind, like, all these quests we have to do, and so it's cool to just kind of do these quests while I'm, you know, listening to music, or watching a video, or doing something like this, like, I'm making a video, and just talking, again, and I feel like I'm making progress towards something that I actually want, like Uriel, or, you know, even there's some other activities that I'll unlock from doing these, as I kind of looked into what the quests do or not for. Right now I'm playing Titania, which, honestly, I've been really enjoying. But I feel like I need a more comprehensive build for her. Mostly the reason is I feel like this form that she has, where she is super small, Do I have to, let me guess.
Tino! The grimoire must speak
Oh, I
with
see,
its
I have to use
own
the
voice.
grimoire. So let's get out of this. Swap. Ouch. Said the grimoire must speak, but I don't know what that means. Oh. Ooh. I should really look at what I actually am supposed to do. But her 4 is like, she turns super small, she flies around like a fairy, and then she has these, I think they're technically exalted weapons, which are special ability weapons that you can like mod individually, separate from, you know, like this, my primary, secondary, or I guess I don't have my secondary now because we just put in that, but, and then you have like your melee, which is this for me.
To praise you as I
Okay,
should
let's, wow, okay, let's swap
have, for you were my right
What
hand.
am I trying to say? Oh yeah, so
My
her 4
strength,
has those
my
pistols,
support,
these,
my
which I think we
sanctuary.
can use again.
Even
And
when the
they hit
galleries
like
hurled
a
scorn upon
truck.
me,
And
your sole
this form feels
desire
really good. But
was
the
to
only,
suffer it
only issue that I
in
have
my
is I cannot seem to keep my energy. And I definitely think that some of it is like that I just don't have a lot of efficiency on her. And if you, again, don't know much about Warframe, ability efficiency is basically like the amount of energy that your abilities take when you're using them or when you cast them. s-
on your first day of service.
where I think I'm using
You
a mod
aspired
called Blind Rage right
to be
now, which gives
worthy
me a
of
lot
me.
of ability strength,
only
which
wish
allows me
that
to
I
just
could
deal
have been
more damage with her
worthy
fourth
of
ability.
you,
But
my lord.
it comes at a cost of like draining my energy really quick. So I need to find that like middle point where I feel like it's still hitting really good, but also not taking too much of my energy away. But other than that, kit is very fun. I really like the 4 because there's like another mechanic in Warframe, especially in like there's a certain mission type, but in like open world missions you can use what's called an archwing, and basically it's like wings you get on your back and you can fly around the map, and it's essentially the exact same thing that Titania does in her 4. I mean, you even get like the blink kind of like dash ability with that you can use on the archwing on Titania's 4. But Titania's 4 can be used in any type of mission, whereas like the archwing cannot be used in everything. So that's like one of the really cool things about her. And if you want me to explain what's going on in the story, I can't, because you know, I'm here just talking about random shit and not paying attention at all, and that's the way I like to live my life. Just kidding, not my, oh, I have to hold E, normally it's tap. I'm gonna punch him in the face. Let's see. Wow, this takes forever, doesn't it? Oh, we're gonna touch his face and make him all soft. No diddy, that was, pause. We're gonna touch his face and make him soft. Holy pause. Okay. Alright, bro. Epiphany, I guess. But yeah. Super enjoying Warframe. There was a moment that I was playing, I don't know if anybody watching this will know what it is. I mean, there's a good chance, but,
Operator.
The strand of claws being
I was playing a
cut,
gamble
while the
with your
indifference
friends,
remains undeterred.
and that game is very silly. It was funny because, me and my friend make a lot of like gambling jokes, and we send a lot of like gambling reels that we just find funny to each other. I'm not a gambler. Let's start with that. I don't even have the money to gamble, let alone the personality to. But
Protect the
I still
vessels.
find it like one of the
Repair.
craziest
So runs
vices
the
of
Kalimos
humanity
series.
ever.
And
Like,
such
you're just
is our
throwing money
task.
or just
In
like
the version of the past we
material
saw, my
worth
Albrecht
anything
said we were too late. The solution,
into a
naturally,
game of
is to
chance and
arrive
hoping
on
that you win.
time next time.
And that's
You
explaining
keep
it
the
very
murmur at
loosely,
bay,
obviously. And there's
I
like
shall fulfill
professional
my
gamblers
role.
or professional bettors or whatever.
Punctuality.
And I'm not gonna
The
get into all
Entrati
that, but I do
family
find
never
it funny
could arrive on time
when
without my help.
you
And
know, you see
so,
those like old
here
people
I
at
am,
casinos
back to
and
my
they're like
own
chain
role,
smoking a
a
pack of
diligent
cigarettes, and they're at
Albrecht
that kind of like
would have smiled at that, I
they're
think.
they're at that mental state where they just slam the slot button over and over
He said,
again, thinking that it's like some superstition that like God is gonna like sway this
Do
machine
not let it
that is like
see you
quite
weeping,
literally
poet.
programmed by a regular Joe, or I should say average Joe. I think there was a comment in one of my other videos where I made fun of myself for saying boxed into a corner or something, which is just not a saying. Or is it boxed into a corner?
We had a deal.
I don't
The
know.
deal
Anyway,
was shook.
I mix my words up. That's the point.
A little handshake.
All right.
All it took. Though from the deal,
You know, I didn't
the
think of
wee
this
child
up until
ran.
this point, about an hour and
Yet
a half-ish
still,
of recording.
we end as we began.
Jesus, that is crazy. But obviously a spoiler warning, and maybe I'll put it in the comments. Oh, hey, we're done with that quest. Guys, I yapped about
Now that you're
real life
here
shit, and
to
now we're
know,
just done. We're done
let's
with the
put you
quest,
to
and now we get to go
work.
move on to the next one. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say, oh yeah, back to the gambling stuff. So, I find all the gambling stuff funny, just like these like crazy emotional like highs and lows that people have like gambling, and I see it like going crazy. And if you take into account like all these like insane like promotional things going on for like random like betting
Tell,
companies, like
the
if you're talking about like
Warframe
Rain Bet or
Chosen
that's like the main
operator.
one I know. I don't
A
know a
friendly
ton of them.
suggestion.
Thankfully.
Oh, the Laverian.
Okay. You look
It was
interesting. Oh, Dante. That's another frame that I've been looking into. My friend was when you first started, we were kind of like looking through all the frames, being like, "Oh, he looks cool, she looks cool. You would like that, I would like that," sort of thing. And this is one that my friend was like, "Oh, it looks like you would probably like playing him, Dante." Maybe we'll take a look at him in a second. Actually, maybe we can do it right now. Dante, yeah, this guy looks super cool. And he's like a warlock type, and I don't mean Destiny warlock. I mean like D&D warlock, where it's like you're using kind of like lots of magic abilities, like black magic, death magic sort of shit. And yeah, and he has like a lot of different combos he can do. Apparently, he's also highly rated for a lot of people because he's pretty versatile. There's a lot of things you can do with him. Interesting. So yeah, excited to get him at some point. So now let's go back to the orbiter. This is my ship. I've never figured out how to change the color
new
of
quest
my
is
ship,
available in
but I
your
want
codex.
to at some point. So yeah, I'll have to figure out how to do that soon because I've been too lazy to just like look it up. Melee upgrade segment installed. Melee upgrade segment installed. Combos. Oh. pretty sweet. Interesting. Maybe that's the upgrade thing they're talking about. Is now, I don't think I've ever been able to see the combos. Move forward, block. Oh, this is like if you have the melee equipped, like fully equipped. I don't really know how to explain that right now. Don't worry about it, guys. Let's copy the colors. Yeah. Fashion in Warframe, super awesome. I prefer it to Destiny. I mean, don't get me wrong. Destiny has some really good design, really cool shit that you can make. But Warframe, I feel like makes it so much more intuitive, especially being able to, because Destiny has shaders, and shaders are like a package of colors or textures that you can put on to one piece of armor at a time. And so kind of meta-ish Destiny stuff is like you throw one shader on everything that you have and you just like that one shader. Where it's like, oh, this shader has black and white. So like I want my character to be black and white. All my armor is gonna get this shader. In this game it's a little different where like you have pieces of your Warframe that like you can change the color of, as you can see, and you can like individually kind of put together your frame like that. And on top of that you have like these palettes, right? Oh, palettes are kind of the equivalent of what a shader is in Destiny, very, very loosely, because it's like it's a collection of colors that you can, the only difference is that you can pick from them in Warframe to put on your Warframe. In Destiny, it's like you would have, you know, the shader would, you know, be like red, black, yellow, and then you would put it on your helmet, and like your helmet is red, black, yellow. And then you could, if you want, make your whole entire like chest piece blue, and like black or something, and then like your legs could be a different color. But like I said, the main thing in Destiny is like you would kind of throw the same shader on all of your gear a lot, with some exceptions obviously, but just to kind of give it that like full look. But yeah, I would say this is a very intuitive way, because it's like the only thing I would maybe complain about is like sometimes I feel like the pieces, or like the way that they split the, kind of like how this is, you can see exactly where it's affecting, where like, you know, that part is blue or like that part is orange now. The way they kind of like split the colors on a Warframe can be a little wonky to me. But it's really only for like specific Warframes and not more of like a general problem that I see across all of them. So I don't want to like bash on it too much because I don't think it's that bad. But the one really nice thing is in Destiny, your weapons could get shaders, but only up to a certain rarity. So like legendary weapons and below, you could put shaders on. And you know, I already explained kind of how shaders work, but in this game, last thing about the Destiny part is if you had an exotic weapon, which are like the like highest rarity kind of crazy unique weapons, you can't put shaders on them, and you instead have to go the route of ornaments. And ornaments pretty much change completely how the weapon looks. So essentially, like I'll use the Burson Prime for example. So we go to appearance. An ornament would look like, if this is the base Burson Prime, which it is, the ornament would do something like this, where it's like it looks completely different, but it's the same weapon. And then the only like difference is that you can't put a shader on it, and you kind of have to hope that an ornament has like a color that you really like. But in this, I'll just do it for fun, but you have this button where, like, right now my Titania is, you know, this kind of like black, silver, purple, you know, thing going on. And if you do copy Warframe colors, it changes the gun to like match your Warframe, like, exactly. Like it literally means like it's copying from each field and just putting it where it's supposed to go. So now it like fits a little better. If you like to have that sort of like everything looks the same on my character, like this is a super duper awesome way to like customize your stuff. And then, you know, past that, obviously you can just go back and like change stuff whenever you want, which is also super cool. Do I like this thing? I think it's okay.
Ready to kick.
Let's just auto mod it and see what happens. It's not bad. Ooh, I like that. Ooh, I feel like... What's the status versus crit? Oh, honestly, it's both pretty good. Crit chance. You go crazy into status with this if you wanted. But is it worth it? Who knows? Target cracker. I feel like not loving it. I don't know. I don't really want to. When did I get this? What the fuck? That is fact. Sorry. There's another mod like this on my burst. Do I have it on? Oh yeah, critical delay, where it gives you a ton of extra critical chance, but also it like nerfs your fire rate a little bit. But it's a little bit better than something like this, where like especially if you're trying to do some crits, where like this is giving you an extra 50% than this with the, you know, the fire rate costs. But there's so many other fire rate things that like it almost doesn't even matter. Like I have a fire rate punch through and then another fire rate right here, which is more than enough to get past this, you know, kind of hindrance, I guess is the word. Yeah. I don't know how much I feel about talking about like shit bothering me for the remainder of this video, so it might be more of like a lighter, just like yapping about games or something, but we'll see. I just want to keep playing some quests here. This is something that I definitely want to go get at some point, because I just unlocked these Archon shards, which is super nice. Because I'll show you a little bit real quick.
Literally, the bowels of the
I'm gonna be so embarrassed if like a bunch of Warframe players watch this video thinking that it's gonna be like a regular Warframe video or something, and then I like just went into some like depressing shit about, you know, relationships, whatever, right? And on top of that, right, that I'm just like explaining Warframe in a shitty way, and they already know all this and more. It'd be funny. Sorry, Archon Shard. So I got this one from last week. And you can do these like Archon Shard hunts where or I guess it's called an Archon hunt, and then you get rewarded with an Archon Shard, and this is the one that I got. And you get a list of bonuses to choose from, and I don't think this is generally a very good one to pick. However, I'm pretty new, and the one thing that I don't have a lot of on most of my frames is armor. So I just threw an armor one on to be more of like a general use, like everybody's gonna get a benefit from it, outside of like the 1 or 2 frames that are like armor based. Yeah, and then it's not gonna be as helpful. But for the remainder of all the frames that I have, like the extra armor is going to help a little bit. So that's why I went with that one. But that red one I think is ability strength or ability range, one of the two, or maybe you can pick between the two, because the blue one let me pick, so maybe the red one's the same. Let's do Lotus Eaters now. This is gonna be a long video. You know, it's like 2:30ish right now. I'm okay with doing another quest, and I'm okay with going well over 2 hours for this, if that's what it means. So I have been what was I gonna say? Oh, I'll talk about something that just happened recently. So I kind of going a little bit back to the job stuff for a second to explain, but I was like, I feel like I've been kind of wasting some of my time, kind of just
It's you.
like kind of rotting a little bit in my room sometimes, where I'm like I get off work and then like my brain just, whoa. Are you okay? Careful there. What is that noise? I'm here to help. Don't listen to it. Let's do I'm here to help. Oh, I have to choose one for both. I'm here to help and are you okay?
This isn't just a bad memory, is it? This is new. Whatever
If you know nothing
this
about Warframe,
is,
I'm gonna be saying
I'm
this a
not
lot, by the way.
leaving
If
you
you
alone
can't
with
fucking
it.
tell already, like, I'm gonna be like, if you don't know anything about Warframe.
You,
But if you don't know anything
my
about
child.
Warframe,
The great indifference wants to
this
take.
Margulis character
I want to let
is
it.
very important to the story,
I feel only the call.
and basically like our space mom in a
My
way,
champion.
very loosely. And then these
Drown
2
out
other people
that
that you're seeing
noise
are
that
both
beckons.
me,
If any other
but different
answers the
versions of me.
call. No. It has
And I'm not
to
gonna
be
explain
you.
any further because I really don't know how
Our
to explain
paradox.
it. But yeah. So this is me. That's also me, and that's kind of also me. But this me and that me both go into this me to kill people. Yeah. Answer the call. Like, not one of these hold E's, man. Anyway, back to the shit I was talking about. So, I spent a lot of time kind of like doing nothing in my room, and I was like, well, I should do something productive so that, like, and especially that relates to like maybe a job that I want to get or the experience that I want to have. So, I kind of, I pulled the trigger on a mini PC, kind of one of those like just office desktop sort of PCs that you just use for whatever, but it had some decent specs where I felt like I could, you know, run some virtual machines on it, or, you know, run it as a server with a lot of like random services that I might want, or, you know, try to test out. Can I shoot any? I'm just following this guy. Okay, it literally says follow it. Okay. Oh, oh, look at that sun. How cute is that? So yeah, I got a PC. I got it on Facebook Marketplace for 150 bucks, and so that should be here in just a few days. And I'm excited to set it up and just see what I can do with it, build with it, what I can learn, and that way, instead of kind of just like dumping hours into games with like no real life like consequence or benefit that there's something that I'm still interested in, I can spend time on, and then I can be like, yeah, I've done this before. Later on, I'm like, yeah, I've done that before. So that'll be cool. Excited for that.
Do you hear it? The calls of angels.
One of the
devils.
coolest things
Life
about making these
itself.
videos was like, obviously
It's
I
grown
kind of
so
made this point
loud.
before, but it was like the
It
interaction that I
tries to
got,
follow in his footsteps through
and
time. You
it's always so
must
cool to
find
see
him
people
first.
like find value in what I'm making. Wow. Hey guys, we're done with the Lotus Eaters. I don't know how. That was kind of silly. What did we get? The Hex. Okay, so we get the next quest. Cool. Let's do that then. See guys, we got 2 quests done in under 2 hours. Easy. That's what we're here
Tenno,
for.
your codex has
To
been
continue my
updated
point
with a
though,
new quest.
it is super cool. An hour and a half. During that time, hour and a half? How long would the video be? Oh my god, guys. It'd be like a 3.5 hour video. Let's not. You know what we'll do? We'll go do something a little bit more chill, and I'll do that tomorrow. Maybe I'll record it, maybe I won't, we'll see. If I'm playing with a friend, I definitely won't record it. Let's go do Deviri, because I... I do want to get Mesa. She seems very cool. My friend was kind of explaining her kit to me. She seems very fun. The other thing is a sniper. Ooh, that's nice. But I want to do the Steel Path version for these, a Zaw Riven mod. What the fuck is a Zaw? I don't know what that is. Oh shit, that's crazy. Anyway, you get these Incarnans, which are like huge upgrades to weapons that you may or may not already have. I have both of these, and I hear both of these are extremely good. So that's my
stars, operator. All accounted
another
for.
goal. I think I had touched on this like way earlier in this video, saying like, oh, I might do this. So because of that other quest, I don't want to push a 3-hour video. I'm okay with like a 2.5. I think is fine. I think this is going to be my longest video by far. Because I think my first 2 were under an hour. My third was a little bit over an hour. This is going to be probably a little over 2. So we'll chill in here for a little bit. Hopefully we can make some good progress. The only problem I have with doing the Steel Path Duviri over the regular Duviri is it feels like people leave the Steel Path one way sooner than than I would like, and just generally like more often than in in the normal version. Nova's generally pretty good. So this mode, again, another, if you don't know Warframe, so it's basic Warframe kind of like mission types, and I'm not loving the choices here, I won't lie. Wow, no rifle is rough. Let's just do that, why not? Screw it. Love that thing. Dex Furious, how about the regular Furious? That'd be nice. Sestra. Let's do that. Our secondary might be our big thing. Anyway, it's like a roguelike mode to Warframe. So like you'll load into a Duviri, it'll give you choices of Warframes to pick. Obviously I picked Nova out of the 5 that I'm able to pick. Then choices for your weapons, and oh, we got another person, nice. And then that kind of upgrade that you saw me pick, it's this thing. It's they're called decrees. So this one you can read it. 30% chance to inflict toxin on a headshot in sort of an AoE, and then you can kind of just keep stacking them as you do more of these like rounds of objectives, and you get some really good rewards out of it, like those incarnants I was showing you. And then on the regular path you get like a new frame every week, or you can choose one out of 3. I chose Mesa. The other 2 I think were Chroma and Atlas, I want to say. So we'll see how this goes. I think we're waiting for maybe that guy to choose his stuff, and we'll type R to say I'm ready, and we'll see when people are good to go. We got 2 Protea Primes, a Caliban Prime, and I'm on regular Nova. I do want Nova Prime, but right now she's vaulted, which means you can't obtain her regularly.
The longer you can
there
keep
are
this undercroft
certain
manifestation
prime
active,
frames where
greater
you
the
can
gains
get
for
their
the other
what's called
side.
relics, and you open these in like a special mission type, and it lets you kind of like, they're almost like mini loot boxes where, how good is this thing? I can't remember. It's alright. Interesting. Let's see here. Let's do that one. That one's very good, especially with Nova's ability that I have set up. No. Oh yeah. So, there are certain frames that, like, at any point in time they'll be unvaulted, so that you can get their relics and farm for parts for them, and you'll be able to like kind of earn them in that way. As for Nova, her relics are vaulted, which means you can't really earn them normally, and you'll have to wait for her to either show up in the Prime Resurgence, which is like a period of time where her relics will become unvaulted, and you'll be able to either earn them from like as a rewards, or you can like buy them for a specific currency called Aya, and then that way you can start to farm them again. Or in the Prime Resurgence, kind of how like I explained how I got Gauss or Gauss, which was you can just buy them off the Prime Resurgence with like pretty much real money, and you know, if you want the shorter route, do that. I'm not gonna judge you either way, because obviously I did it with Gauss. If it feels like I'm being a wet paper napkin, it's because I am, and that's just kind of how it is in Steel Path for me right now. But I want these incarnates really bad, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of just pray for people to do a lot more than me. But if I can get the right setup, I can actually do stuff in the Steel Path, but I'm not really feeling the setup quite yet. We'll have to see what kind of upgrades we get after. I think the corrosive on shot would be really big for us, mostly because you do want some level of armor stripping in Steel Path. Because armor is a big mechanic that just makes it so enemies take way less damage, and you want to be able to take it off of them with corrosive or like heat. That way you can deal more damage to them, because it's like if they're fully armored, I think a lot of them take like 90 or they have 90% or above damage resistance, which is ridiculous, because then you're doing like a 10th or less damage that you would be doing if they had no armor. So you want some way to get that off.
Use it only as you must.
So we'll see if we can come across that, because that would probably help our build a little bit. So if I can do corrosive with the weapon, and plus that kind of toxic one we already have, and this these like rotating things around me, they will kind of go out to an enemy like that, and they'll apply heat, which also strips armor. So you do corrosive heat for a lot of armor strip, and then that toxin will do a little extra damage to them. So we should be doing a lot better damage-wise, even with the corrosive. There are some other upgrades that we keep an eye on, or keeping an eye out for. Yeah, this is one of the slower mission types because it has a
Life
set
support has
kind
been
of time you have to be alive for. It's, you know, it's survival, so you have to survive. And I think it's 5 minutes. That seems about right. Which a lot of the other rounds can be done sooner than that. If you are like competent and you like really focus on the objective, you can easily do a lot of these sooner than 5 minutes. But survival is one of the more annoying ones to me because it's like at minimum you're taking 5 minutes for this encounter and then you can move on to the next. But I guess it's nice that we're starting out with it. That means
60 seconds left.
It will be later on in this run. Well, not completely not in the run later on, but like for the foreseeable future, we probably will not get another survival until we start like going way deeper into the rounds. What's something good going in life generally, so I can stop super yapping about games. We'll definitely get back to games, but
Leave now or later. But leave you must, for the Undercroft is inexhaustible.
I do like that.
Secrets lie buried deep within the Undercroft.
Reroll, so I will take that.
Provides the
Efficiency
means
is
to
nice. I
extract
was
them.
explaining efficiency
You
earlier.
must protect the excavators
Like
and keep
casting
them
this stuff
powered.
around me takes some energy, and then if there's like a lot of enemies, I can cast my 4, but generally that takes a ton of my energy, so the extra efficiency might actually make it like an option that's okay now. Close. That's what we will want. Let's see. This one is good. Because a lot of things count as status, so heat counts as status, toxin counts as status, which we are both applying right now with either our weapon or our ability. Wow. Where he's going, but
An extractor requires power.
let's get out of here. We gotta protect this thing. You know what, from here on out, I'm just gonna assume people watching don't know anything about Warframe. That way it's easier for me to like stop being like, well, if you do or you don't know. I'm just gonna assume you don't know, and if you do know, you'll be like, I know that already.
Extractor charge expended.
But, what was I saying? Something good going on. I'm feeling a bit more creative lately. I'm feeling a little bit more in tune with my well, rose-tinted glasses is more of like an expression for like something that is bad but viewed in a way that is good. I don't think that's what I'm trying to say. I think I'm like just seeing life more poetically, I guess, in a sense. Like I've started to write
An extractor is out
stuff
of power.
again in private, and granted not a lot at all. I think maybe like 1 or 2 things, but you know, 1 or 2 things for me is honestly a lot. Normally I can't muster up the creativity or the effort to like even sit down and write something, but I wrote something that I was proud of. And it's just nice to have that feeling because I do enjoy being creative in a way. This is one of my outlets for trying to be creative. That has been going for me. It's nice. Obviously, not doing terrible now for the damage, which is nice. I think we're gonna struggle with single target, as you can see, but if we can get our status on multiple people, even just 2 people, you can feel it. You definitely get a good spike of damage, which is good. But yeah, I feel like in another world, or I guess in another life, I am in the arts, and I am definitely a poet. I feel connected to poetry, and
treasure may now be extracted.
I might be being hyperbolic just because, like, I don't go out and read poetry a whole lot, but I do see it as one of my kind of writing outlets where I'm like, when I want to make something, like I want to sit down and write something, my first thought is like, I'm gonna make poetry, because I had a really great high school teacher for AP Lit. We had to make a website, and I had to write poems of different kinds, and it stuck with me,
You have gained
like more than I thought it would, and I still think about that class, and like I still think about writing till this day, because it's just so fun. Like, it's like a fun. Okay, this could be good, because then we could just spam
that this Tenno asset was destroyed in a grave setback to the
might
cause.
be our best bet here. Let's
Let
see
us
how
rewrite that event.
5%. That's not bad. That's not bad at all.
Prepare
Let's try and
yourself.
find some of these
A
fragments
fresh
too.
wave approaches.
Ouch. Here's one. Those little fragments, like when you collect 3 of them around the map, they give you an extra upgrade that you can choose, which is super helpful. Because if you were to choose, or if you were to find 0 of them and do this over and over again, you know, let's say you go 10 rounds, you get 10 upgrades, but if you get all of them every round, then you have 20 upgrades by the same rate. So you're doubling the amount of upgrades, obviously. I mean, like, you could do basic math, but, okay, that is really good. Wait.
The enemy musters
You
for
know,
a
honestly,
fresh
I've never
assault.
used that one. Let's
Hold
see
the
how that one's
line.
So now we can pop this 4, and it does this like huge field, and it will prime enemies where like they get affected with this status where if they die they explode. So you can see maybe some of the, like, that yellow explosion is what that effect is, and it's just some extra damage when things die. It's good for crowd control. But yeah, back to poetry. I really like it. I find it interesting, in a weird way. I mean, I know not all poetry is like super short, but I find that poetry seems to be a short form type of like creative process, or like, you know, its content I view as shorter than like the typical, you know, like obviously than the typical book, or, you know, something else similar, you know, just like regular English writing or whatever. But I've always been someone to enjoy something that feels you know, powerful but concise, you know, like I feel like that's almost like literary efficiency, where, you know, like I can get meaning out of, like, if I can get meaning out of, sorry, let me restart and turn my brain on for a second. If I can get the same meaning out of 3 words rather than 30, then to me it feels like those 3 are a more powerful statement, because it's just so efficient, it's so like good at telling a story, or like at conveying a message, that it's let's take that's probably better than
left
the
behind from the time of scholars' landing.
slightly.
Master their alchemy. To understand the elemental
But
forces you wield,
I think that it's
locate a
just
crucible.
pretty
You found a crucible.
cool to see it in
Liberate the necessary amphor.
in action. It's challenging to
Whether on
me
your weapons or in the
to
crucible,
like where sometimes I
toxin and
will
cold
read like
amphors will create
a
viral
poem or
elemental force.
some line from something that may not necessarily be poetry but could have been in a different context, where I don't like to say I try and emulate it, but I tried to emulate the power that comes from things that I read, conveyed through like my own experience being a human. But it is challenging. Ooh, yeah, this feels good. So now you can strip armor at least with this weapon, which may not be doing a ton of damage on its own, but that means we can shoot enemies first a little bit, and then use the one that we have, and it'll flood enemies a lot. So we're doing some damage. Okay, we're really not, but we can kill stuff on our own, which is what we want. I'm not helping at all. Let me do that. Pick these up, throw them in there. Pick these up, throw them in there. Pick that one up, throw it in there. Cool. Pick that up, throw it in there. Pick it up, throw it. Pick it up, throw it. That one's done. So we gotta do the next one.
Complex elemental force.
Okay,
Create
on top
another.
of that. Good job, teammate.
Corrosion's elemental force is the deadly byproduct of toxin and electricity.
Yeah, I wrote a poem the other day. It was while I was at work, because I have a lot of downtime at work, and it just kind of the feeling struck me where I was like, I feel like writing something, and I had something on my mind, so I wrote something. Yeah. Lately I've been finding haikus pretty, I don't want to say funny, because I feel like that's disrespecting the haiku, but, there are some funny things that I've been seeing done with haikus. There's a TikTok that I saw, somebody recreating like a whole, Sopranos scene. I want to say it's the Sopranos, with, like the son of one of the main characters just speaking in haikus, and the other two are like speaking normally, and they're wondering what's going on, and he keeps speaking in haikus, and then the mother starts to speak in haiku. I don't know, it was just silly, but, that level of silliness compared with like, a form of poetry is kind of interesting to me, and entertaining at the very least.
With how you've wielded his crucibles today.
I don't know, I'm curious, if you take the time to watch up until this point and you feel like commenting, but what kind
Do
of,
not expect me to tell you when to stop.
I guess,
Judge for yourself.
media or
The jackal.
some
A
extra
graceless
bullets.
machine with no business here. Dispatch it and move on.
Kind of media or maybe literature,
The body is well
really
armored.
just anything
The
with,
limbs
that
less so.
secretly has like has its hooks in you, because it's like I don't think I would ever really admit just out to anybody that I'm like super enjoying poetry, because I've never been
Avoid the
in it like that, where I'm like, oh, I'm writing poetry all the time and I read poetry all the time. I'm like, I barely interact with it, but it still seeps its way into my brain, where like I remember like having to for a class, but that it was like it grew on me.
First,
And that was
bring
fun.
it down. Then work on keeping
And so it
down.
still has this sort of like effect on me whenever I find like
Evade.
poetry
You
that
can
really hits
attack
me.
later.
So maybe we'll do a poetry video at some point. I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to promise anything because we know what happened last time. But it would be a cool idea because I would definitely be down to spend some time writing things and then share what I've written at a certain point. But you know, there's somebody else on TikTok that I really enjoy watching their videos, and he does mainly like philosophy-centered content. And he had this really good video about how art is never meant to be seen. Because art means the most when you're like this is also another like duh moment, but like when you're making it for yourself sort of thing. Because that meant so much to you that you felt like it needed to be created, whereas there are, you know, artists that, you know, create for the sake of creation, or like a performance to those that they believe will end up seeing what they do. And while I don't think it's like an end-all be-all sort of philosophy to be like, oh well, you know, if you made this to be seen, that it's, you know, not worth anything, because I feel like music for the most part is something that is made to be heard, right? Like, you don't make music for nobody to hear it, really. But music still has that quality where it's like there are people who want to make music for themselves, like they enjoy making music that they do. Okay, I've never seen that before, and that's super and then on top of that, it's like it's just a bonus if people like enjoy what they make, right?
Skill has triumphed over mere machinery.
But you know, that video that the creator I'm talking about made, honestly made me think a lot about like how I go about
the void angels that roost in the Zeraman,
thinking about like making stuff myself, because I do catch myself sometimes like in this, you know, feeling of like, man, I write poetry and it'd be so cool, you know, if people enjoyed what I made, and like I could just be that person that like makes poetry. But that's also like, it's almost dumbing myself down in a certain sense, where it's like I can be everything I am right now and a poet, right? Like I don't want to be just known for poetry, because then it's like, you know, in the same way that I'm like frustrated right now that like all I'm doing is like this whatever job for a bowling alley, like I imagine myself feeling the same way if like all I did was poetry, right? It'd be like, well, you know, everybody only knows me for poetry, like I wish they knew me for, I don't know, my my maintenance skills too. Just something to think about, I guess. But he also makes another really good point that, you know, the best kind of like ending to making art is to be caught in the act, where it's like you've exposed me almost for making the art that I do, and it was never meant to come out, and now it's like the feeling switches from this like performative, like, oh well, you wanted me to see this, to like, oh, it wasn't meant to be seen, and now it's like this indulgent feeling from the audience, or like the viewer of art, right? It's such an interesting
as you would
thought.
Staunch the wounds of a comrade.
Yeah. But I think poetry is also just fun to me because I've always been a decent writer. I don't think I'm anything like insane. Nor do I think I like have to be, but I will say my my artistic skills have
a breach has been seen.
Never been something to really be known for, and I'm not saying I want to be known for anything, but it's just a way to describe that my artistry is okay. I can draw a cat. I can sketch things out roughly, but hold on.
If the Void Angels break through
I'm not
the
going
wall,
out there being Picasso.
their master will be freed. Do not allow that to happen.
I keep telling my friend that I wanna. Oh, I just realized there's a face over there. That I want to write a joke, like if I were to make stand-up comedy, sort of. I want to write a joke. And it was like, it involves the term, like good ear, or like you have good ears when like somebody is I don't love most of these. It's just when somebody like hears something for a brief moment and then they're able to be like, oh, was that this, or did I just hear that, and they end up being right. You know, you say something like, oh, good ear, right, or you have good ears, or whatever. So it would have that, and then it would involve Van Gogh. I think it's Van Gogh, who lost the ear, and then it would also include Mike Tyson. And I have no idea how this joke would work at all. But I keep thinking about what it could be. So you have like the good ear phrase, which is like, you know, I feel like that's like that kind of typical, like you, that would be like the comedic side, but like, oh, sayings, you know. Like, I don't know. Like, you guys ever heard of saying before? You know, that kind of weird segue that comedians do a lot. Anyway. And then it would be like, you'd have to explain the Van Gogh part. You know, a lot of this takes, like, people knowing the reason why these two people would be in there. Mostly because not Picasso. I can't remember if it's Picasso or Van Gogh that lost the ear. So whichever one, I'd actually have to find this. And then Mike Tyson, right, bit someone's, I think it was, Ngannou? Or, Holy? I don't know. Anyway, he bit some guy's ears off in a boxing match. And, I don't know, maybe Mike Tyson's hungry for the only other year that Van Gogh or Picasso, whoever ended up being, has left. And the phrase will come in at some point. Guys, these are called Ethan's rants for a reason. So if you're listening to me right now and you're just like, what the fuck is he going on about? I need you to let me have my moment, and you know what? You can skip ahead. Skip ahead by like 2 minutes. I'm probably off this.
Beg once more. You will never pry the Yanis
Kill him.
from the clutches of its rightful owner. I, Captain Vor.
Captain. It seems that my teammates are doing much more than I am. I'm okay with that. Let's see the damage. Yeesh. By a lot. Guys, I got no ammo. I'm out.
Will you lay your sword aside?
You know, I was saying that people leave this often, but it's super wowie.
Your presence is enough to hold the paradox at bay.
Ability damages,
but the environment itself will fight to choke you out.
Right now anyway, so this is awesome. may be the perfect mode for maybe the next time I do a Warframe video. It's very repetitive and chill in the way that a lot of the other videos kind of were. I think maybe the Warframe story missions weren't a fantastic choice. I mean, like, I don't think it matters a ton, but yeah, just something to think about for next time. Let's we can do corrosive. Get armor, and then maybe need some armor bonus. That's nice. I was thinking though, if I end up making another video after this, that I probably won't. Probably won't do Warframe for like a second time in a row. I'll probably find some other random game that I find, you know, relatively peaceful or not as stimulating maybe as Warframe. I think I'm open definitely to making Warframe videos. I feel like there's this weird sort of like non-stimulating stimulation that like Warframe does for me, where it's like, yes, there's like so many things going on that you can see on the screen, but the reality is like right now we're just killing. The whole point is I'm just killing everything that I come across, and I feel like for someone like me, once I understand that, and I just see like somebody flying around and like killing everything in sight, like that gives me a weird sort of like peace where I'm like, they're doing a good job. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. And hopefully that's kind of what I'm hitting with this, but they're hitting some numbers now.
Life support will be scarce. Do not waste it.
So I'm in the zone, I'm just like gaming right now.
Only 60 seconds remain.
We finally have gotten to a point where we feel comfortable with the build now. Levels are getting higher, which is fine. But we prevail. It's awesome. We're sick. Just like you guys.
Life support replenished.
This will be a disclaimer for any of my friends
Life support
or family who may come across this video and somehow watch all 2.5 hours so far of what this is. Please do not hold what I say in these videos against me. I will not like it. Unless I said something that personally offends me. This is me just... Wow, I hit for 2 mil. I don't hit for over 1 million very often. At least not at this point in the game for me.
This struggle goes on for as long as you can stand.
I do treat this sort of as like a video diary of sorts. I guess I don't mind if you
Secrets lie
quote unquote take a peek,
within the
but
undercroft. The
try not
paradox
to,
provides the means to extract them.
you know,
You must protect the excavators and keep them powered.
use what's in these videos against me in a way, or treat me differently because of it. I don't know. Not that I think you would. I think I'm chill with everybody to a point where I think they would know not to do that, but
An extractor requires power.
you know, in case it needed to be said. Oh, there's the last one. Beautiful. So, let's see what we got here. Honestly, knockdown resistance. Good right now.
I sense another void treasure.
There was another comment on one of my older videos where somebody said like they could listen to me talk all day. I thought that was really funny, because I think you know, and I feel like maybe a lot of people feel the same way, but I find myself obnoxious. I hate listening to my own voice back, like on videos, most of the time. I don't know, I feel like I'm getting used to it a little bit more, but I think like the cadence at which I speak is awful, and I like will go off on so many side tangents during like a point I'm trying to make that is just so
A new
like, it's
extraction site
nails on a
may now be
chalkboard to me
claimed.
sometimes. But whoever said that, I appreciate you,
Extractor in
because
place.
that, you know, that sent my ego flying through the roof. Let's just say that. Just kidding. But I did appreciate it. So at least there's somebody else who doesn't have my voice. Horrible. That's cool. Charge this bad boy. Not from him, at least. There's one. Nice.
Void treasure location established.
Probably go as far as these people will take me, and then I will make a video. But we'll see how long that is. Could be X round, could be 10 rounds from now. We'll see. 10 rounds would be very bad for my sleep, but I'm in the mood to not mind my sleep being ruined.
Excavator under attack. A way out is now open to you.
Done with that one.
But
Nice.
further buried riches
Defense is
are
pretty easy.
here
I'm guessing
for the
people are
taking.
gonna stay.
Do not expect me to tell you when to stop. Judge for yourself.
Oh, you know what? Let's talk about
Many defensive battles within the
movies,
origin system
I
were
guess.
lost. Through the paradox, you now have the chance to undo
so,
those defeats. Enemies incoming. Stand fast.
Let me, okay, sorry. Before we get into the movies, let me preface again that whenever I'm like, or I guess, let me talk about more about like the personality thing that I have, which is I have this weird sort of like imposter syndrome-esque thing going on where, like, I will say something like, oh, I love movies, and then I'll think about like there's a large amount of people that definitely watch way more movies than I do and like respect, you know, filmmaking more than I do and blah blah blah. But it's like I would say that like there are movies that like stick with me very like deeply and stuff. And stuff, as I'm talking about, like whatever. So if you ever hear me like doing that and you're like, why does this guy always like say like, well, there's people that do it better than I do, or you know, there's people that are definitely more into this or more into that. It's just like, it's this weird underlying feeling of me needing to cover my bases. Like, I don't want anybody ever being like, well, I actually enjoy movies more than you, and this person actually does, and you haven't even considered this, and that's what, and, you know, like, I just,
is being tested.
I say it in that way so that what I'm saying is not being interacted with in a way that, like, is just counterintuitive to what I'm, like, really trying to say. Going into the movies, okay? I enjoy a lot of movies. Maybe that's a better way to say it. And I like watching different kinds of movies, you know, whatever they may be. And, one that I'm very, 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 very excited. Oh my god. I'm telling you to go to sleep. Very excited to see is the newest Batman movie that I think will be releasing like later on in next year, 2027.
If only for now.
Which the first one I alright.
One pebble at a time.
We'll finish up this thought.
You
Then
will
probably
lift entire mountains.
Mission complete. Excellent work, Tenno.
end the video. But anyway, super excited for that movie because the first one was just fantastic. I loved Pattinson, Robert Pattinson as the Batman. He's my favorite version of like live action Batman that I've seen. I've seen The Dark Knight. I've seen all of the, you know, Batman versus Superman stuff, and I have not seen what's his name, Michael Keaton, I think. I have not seen his stuff. I've heard that it's more like theatrical almost, which sounds cool, but I've just never gone out of my way to go and see it. But I really enjoy Robert Pattinson's Batman. It has this like really cool feel to it, very unique in terms of like the other types of Batmen we have seen. And I keep hearing some stuff about the new one where it's like he might have like over the shoulders cape, a longer cape, just like, which I feel like would really emphasize that sort of like bat symbol that, you know, I could see Robert Pattinson's Batman like wanting to become. So if you're like a Batman fan and you also enjoy the Batman, like the newest one, let me know, because I always like talking about that movie with people. I used to put it on constantly at night to go to sleep, just because it's such a great like dark room, rainy day, you know, just like meticulously slow movie until, you know, you hit some certain parts and then it speeds up. But yeah, I know that's a bit of a weird topic or like thought to end on, but I'll probably be closing this out. But yeah, we hit 2.5 hours. Really happy. I enjoyed making this one. And I'm just gonna throw this onto YouTube, no editing, and just like the other ones. So I hope, you know, whatever I talked about or, you know, even just like maybe the game itself, you know, maybe you enjoyed it, maybe you didn't. Let me know if there's things you didn't care for, or, you know, maybe you'd want to see or not see in the next one. Let me know, because I'm always open to feedback. But yeah, I'm gonna keep making videos of this kind, hopefully just the long rant style, just BSing on the game by myself. Um, but yeah, we did get some really great progress today, which is awesome. So we got those quest done, we got some of that Dugiri done, which is great. And I'll probably finish some of that up tomorrow. But I'm going to be going. I love each and every one of you. I hope you're doing well, and if you're not, things will get better soon. Even if it may not seem like it, it always does. One day at a time. You know, it's worth seeing what's next. It's always worth seeing. And I hope tomorrow is a good day for all of you. And, you know, love yourself, become better people. And I think that's it. So I will see you next time. Again, I'm not sure. I'm not going to promise anything, but hopefully sometime soon. Goodbye now. This was Ethan. Or if you want to call me by the channel name, you can call me Mayday. I don't. It's whatever. It was just kind of a bullshit name. Anyway, bye bye.